Hello, my name is Kiriath and today we're going to take a little look at the Armiger Warglaive. I'm saying Armiger now. I'm doing it. I'm correcting. If it's not correcting, and it is in fact Armiger, blame all the people who keep telling me that it's not Armiger, it's Armiger. I'll do either. I don't mind. It's fine. Either way. So we're going to take a look at that because there's been some of the stats have been released on the Warhammer community site. And there's a bit more information as to exactly what they do, what they're for, what the baby knight is all about. There's also, if you look in the description, a link to a bunch of Necron leaks, like pretty much the entire codex, which hilariously was dropped yesterday, just after I finished making and uploading the video for the day. As always happens, it doesn't matter when I record, it doesn't matter when it happens, whether it's early in the morning, whether it's late at night, something will drop immediately after I've finished, and it'll have more information than what I've just told you. Such is the way of the world. I've accepted it as my fate, being permanently late to the party. It's fine, I'm not bitter. But yeah, there's everything by the look of it. It's floating around that it's a beta codex, not a final codex, so things like point values and stuff may be different in the final release, maybe some stats might be a little bit different, but for the most part it looks pretty legit. I haven't had a chance to go through all of it just yet, but I will do. I probably won't do a video on the whole thing, just because I don't know, it would be a massive video, and there are plenty of you out there who would get more from it and more easily by reading through, as opposed to me just telling you what's in there. So yeah, it'll be in the description. Take a look, see what you think. I think it's shaping up to be okay, the Necron Codex. It definitely feels more, as someone said in the comments yesterday, the metal skeletons feel more fleshed out than the Tau, which, to be honest, I can't disagree with that, which is a shame because I'd like to, but I don't think I can. Anyway, that's enough blithering about that. Let's have a look at this Armiger Warglaive. I'm going to stress the pronunciation every time, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. So, oh, I love the look of these. I'll be honest, I think they look dead good. They look proper miniature knight. I'm pretty sure I called the height correctly still. I'm pretty sure I did. The only thing I'd say is that now the next knight I put together will have to have its legs put together that way somehow, because then it will match a bit better. But yeah, the little promotional shots that they've had for Forge Pain and stuff, I think they show them really well. They look really decent. And I can easily see two of those painted in the same colours as my knight, flanking it, going around beating the crap out of stuff. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I say kind of, I just am. I really am looking forward to these things coming out. They look so good. Okay, so let's have a look at the rules. So as they say, it's a new kind of Imperial Knight, allow Imperial players greater flexibility when choosing a super heavy for their army, as well as giving Imperial Knight players much greater flexibility when constructing their army. They are Lords of War. Now, we discussed this before. They are going to fill the Lord of War bit. At first, I wasn't sure what to make of that, if I'm honest. I did think to myself, well, they're a bit small to be Lord of War. That's kind of... It didn't seem quite right that a fully fledged Imperial Knight would be Lord of War, and yet Armigers would also be classed as Lord of War, just because they're from the same... Well, I assume once the Imperial Knights Codex comes out, which I'm sure there will be one soon, they're all part of the same thing, so it seemed very strange having them fill the same slot. But as they point out, unlike other Lords of War, you'll be able to fit up to 3 Armigers in a single slot, making filling out a super heavy detachment and netting 3 command points easy. And funnily enough, they recommend pairing 2 with a fully fledged Imperial Knight. And that's not just because they want you to go out and buy 2 of these and buy a full Imperial Knight, although I'm sure that has got a lot to do with that as well. So let's have a look at the stats. 14-inch move, I like that. That's quality. Toughness 7, 12 wounds, a 3+ save, and an ion shield. Now, that I'm really happy with, because I didn't expect them to have it. I'll be honest, I kind of assumed that them being smaller and more nimble, they would lose some of the tankiness. I mean, obviously they do lose some of the tankiness, they don't have the same wounds or whatever, but I like the inclusion of an ion shield because, if anything, it makes it still feel like an Imperial Knight. Like, it's obviously smaller and faster, and it fulfills a different role. But having it have that kind of similarity in terms of like outfit, in terms of war gear, to me it kind of makes them fill in better. It just makes them fit slightly better. So I'm really happy that they've actually chosen to do that, because it's just a small thing. I say it's just a small thing, that's not fair. It's actually not a small thing, it's quite significant having the ion shield, but I like the inclusion. I think it's a good flavour thing to do, and hopefully it will allow them to take a bit more of a beating, because they are small and they are fast, but they're nowhere near as, you know, resilient as they shouldn't be, given the size of them and the speed of them. But yeah, it just adds that little extra that I quite like. Okay, so I do like the fact that, like, we'd recommend taking full advantage of this by sending your Armiger Warglaives ahead of your force. Well, they've got a 14-inch movement. They're obviously not designed to stand still, but sure. Okay, the weapons. Armiger Warglaives are built for one thing: hunting and destroying vehicles, monsters, and any other large target foolish enough to get in their way. Key to this is the thermal spear, a melted weapon that boasts both terrifying range and damage. So as you can see there, range 30-inch, assault D3, strength 8, AP -4, D6. Meaty. If the target is within half range of this weapon, roll 2 dice when inflicting damage with it and discard the lowest result. I like that, that's cool. 30-inch range really isn't bad either. That's pretty good. It only needs to get within 15 inches to roll 2 dice. Yeah. And there is the Reaper Chain Cleaver. Such a daft name, I love it. So that is strength times 2, AP -3, D3 damage. Strength, okay, yeah, so with 4 attacks, it's strength 12, so at the top here, with the stats, we know that it's got 14-inch move, toughness 7, 12 wounds with 3+ save, and ion shield. And so with that, we can fill in the gaps a little bit. So it also has 4 attacks, and it has strength 6 as well. So that's kind of, in a roundabout way, a pretty much full stat line for these things now. 4 attacks is not that many, comparatively speaking. But then again, this is not really a horde taker downer, is it? As they point out, just watch out for hordes. It does have a very specific role, this, but I quite like that. It'd be interesting to see other loadouts, whether there will be other loadouts and what other loadouts there will be. But I'm pretty sure, aren't there 2 different loadouts? We'll have a look in a sec. Let's cover the stratagem quickly first. So, Knight of the Cog, which is an Adept and Mechanicus stratagem, 1 command point. Those knights that are favoured by the Cog blessing of the Omnisire, I can still never say that. I always want to say Omnisia, but Omnisire makes more sense because Messiah is actually a word. Revealing the divine energies of the machine god. Use this stratagem at the start of any battle round before determining which canticle of the Omnisire, Jesus Christ, will be in effect. Select a Questor Mechanicus unit from your army that is within 12 inches of a friendly Adeptus Mechanicus character. That unit gains the canticles of the Omnisire ability until the start of the next battle round. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's been around for a while, hasn't it? Or am I off my face? We may well have looked at that when we had the Codex Adeptus Mechanicus, but I can't remember because that was quite a long time ago. Anyway, let's quickly go back up here. I can't remember whether we actually saw... No, we didn't see 2 different loadouts, did we? But I would hope that there would be more. Basically, I'd hope that there is more than just that one loadout when we finally get the full kits, which it seems the Forgebane box will have the full kits. I have to say, even though I like the look of these sort of mechanically, in terms of what they're going to be doing on the tabletop, by far the biggest thing that I like about them still is the variation that they provide for the Imperial Knights, without splashing out massive on Forge World for like what, 180, 200 quid. Was it more than that? Is it 270? I can't remember. The Forge World Knights are far more expensive than the Games Workshop Knights. There is a good amount of variation in terms of loadout for the Games Workshop Knights, yeah, but for me there is a a big part of having a satisfying army is having some form of variation that is not quite filled in just by switching out war gear, and having some smaller knights to go with the bigger knights purely from a kind of aesthetic point of view. I hate that word. I like it. It provides more, I don't know, it provides a better kind of silhouette as a whole. Instead of, you know, just big chunky walkers all over, you've got these smaller, leaner additions to the force as well. And of course it just opens up more options for Knights players in general. Again, there are plenty of loadouts for Imperial Knights, but more choice is never bad, and it's kind of nice to see them fleshed out a bit more. I'd quite like to see Games Workshop push this further, not just with Armiger Warglaives, but I'd like to see more variations of Knights that are either smaller or medium or even bigger, that don't directly compete with what Forge World are doing, obviously, because they'd never do that. But it would be nice to see the kind of knight range that Games Workshop has expand a little bit further. I would kind of expect maybe something else at some point in the future, not right now because, you know, the Armigers are here, but it'd be nice if within the next year we could have maybe one more thing just to round it out, make it a more rounded force in general, both in looks and just in options. I mean, when you look at the amount of options that things like just Space Marines have got, having just one model with a few varieties doesn't look great. Having just two models with a few varieties, again, it's better, but it could be so much more. It could be so much more fleshed out than that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to these things. I'm looking forward to having a couple to go with my knight, and I could see it being the catalyst for a slightly larger knight project in the future, because there's already too much to do as it is. But yeah, they're looking interesting, they're looking pretty good, and as I say, variation, never bad, never bad. Let me know what you think about these things in the comments below. Does stat line look decent? Do you think they'll fulfill the role that they've been given? Would you prefer to just have all big knights, or would you go for some baby knights? Let me know what you think in the comments below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. There's the usual array of videos and Patreon and subscribe and all that shit. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to, and I will see you for the next video. Toodaloo.